been times where I've done virtual therapy with Kingston and he like literally is like, hi, and he clicks it and turns it off.
Yeah, like 5 or 10 minutes into the session, we're like, you're done?
So speaking of chasing the standard, let's talk about the Broncos real quick, obviously.
Good segue.
The Chargers fan base is really, really cool, really, really welcoming, mostly, especially if you're at SoFi.
The preparation for...
Where's my Jayhawk question at, man? That's what I want to know.
It's coming right here.
Oh, if they take one message from this book, I would say not to compare yourself with others.
What is going on, everyone? This is West War Room Rivals. Just a little duo action tonight as we do a little late night. Out of our norm, we don't typically do the late night stuff, but it's Saturday. We were a little bored. We wanted to do some sort of live. So, Cody, you had the house to yourself tonight, so we decided why not.
Yeah, it's one of the few nights that I'm kind of by myself. My wife is on a work trip right now. Daughter's at in-laws for a sleepover. So it's just guys' night. So I think you texted everyone in the group today, and I was like, I'm down. I've got nothing to do tonight. And, you know, we didn't have a whole show this week. So I figured, why not? Let's get some football talking.
It was just a weird week for everybody. And I talked about this the other night when I was doing this solo, because I started YouTube and YouTube messed up. So I went over to TikTok, and I believe Ethan was doing some training for work, and they had him all the way across the country, I believe. And then you with work, me with work. So it's one of those where, yeah, Drewski got you for 10. Already been on your break for 20 minutes.
Here, we'll put you on the screen there, Drewski.
Saturday night work, man, I don't miss those days. Cody, you can actually speak from probably recent experience to that.
Yeah, unfortunately, well, actually, I'm really grateful because the other manager who would normally work the weekends is back from their vacation. So that's why I kind of have this odd weekend off where I was texting you guys. I almost had literally nothing to do. So I've just been doing stuff just for the war room or around the house or whatever. So this is actually supposed to be like what work entails, where I work hard during the week, off on the weekends. But I mean, I texted you guys last night. I think it was 8:30 my time that I got off for work. Yeah,
I did see that.
Yeah, it was just one of those long nights. But I did stay up late enough to send you guys whoever posted in our Facebook, commented about the In-N-Out order. Jeff, what up? Shout out, Jeff. How's it going?
Jeff, hopefully everything's going well. Glad to see you in here. A little late night action for us going on here. Josh Allen, #1, as Drewski says. Yeah, you sent that. I woke up to it. But yeah, I mean, again, late night action. It is what it is. I mean, we obviously would love to do this on the weekends like this. Just do a random impromptu live, but it doesn't always necessarily work out that way as far as, work, especially during the week. Like, hey, I want to get on at 7, 8 o'clock at night because I don't have to worry about work tomorrow because this is kind of what we're doing. So if you're new in here and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do. If you're watching over on Facebook, hit that follow button as well as on X. So training camp began. I believe the Seahawks started yesterday and the 49ers began today. Everyone else should be starting over the next 7 to 10 days. Denver, I believe, is 9 days. I don't remember I think the AFC West pretty much starts at around the same time. So
yeah, the Raiders, I think, begin, I want to say July 25th or 6th, and then full on OTA, I think, starts in August. Well, at least it's open to the public in August, but for majority of camp, it starts, I think the 26th is the start date for that.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of stuff, a lot of storylines. Been reading a lot of cool things. Some I think are just myths and what people want to have happen. And there are some, there's smoke essentially with some of them. But there's, again, it's going to be a long 7 weeks. I think Cody put that in the group text earlier, and Austin said that was still too far away. I do agree. Jeff says taking 5 myself. I also have an empty house and taking advantage of getting ahead on work projects. Yeah. Hey, we've been seeing your social media posts. We've been trying to follow along with your guys' journey. Jeff, you guys are absolutely crushing it right now. So you have earned this 5-minute break. Don't overwork yourself, but at the same time, keep grinding because, again, that is what we all do. But again, we're live from the JBW Solution Studio, as you see Jeff himself over there in the comment section. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah. So Jeff, great partner of the show, by the way, one of the first supporters, which is why we have the JBW Solutions studio named after him. And go check them out on jbwsolutionsllc.com. What Corey is saying is absolutely true. They are growing like crazy right now. So if you follow them on any social media, especially Facebook, that's where they're kind of announcing a lot of their big projects that they have going on, mergers that they have going on, huge accounts that they're grasping. So definitely go follow Jeff and his team over there. They'll get you in great hands. And they're just a stellar organization. Jeff is a veteran himself, and he's all about his community. He's all about safety. So definitely great partners for the War Room, because we're all about veterans, as Matt is a member of the War Room. He's serving in the Navy currently. And, obviously anybody that is all about community and bringing people together, we'd love to have that supported to us. So shout out to Jeff and his team at JBW Solutions. Great partners. So go visit them if you guys can. That's probably like our constant ad insert that we do, just not because that they pay the show, but because they're just great supporters and great friends. We want everyone to go support them.
100%. First question of the night comes from our bread, cornbread. He's got a Panini 1 2024. Should he open it or hold it for a few years? Austin's our card expert. Austin should probably hop in the chat and give you his thoughts on that.
Yeah, don't take my advice on card advice. I have no idea.
Yeah, look, hey, that the card game's taken off, right? Like, it's become a big thing over the last couple of years. We actually went back home to Kansas for 4th of July weekend and Mom's birthday, and our cousin has 2 kids, and they were so excited about their cards. They wanted to show Austin all their cards, so they're sitting in our grandma's living room showing all their cards to Austin, and Austin's like, yeah, I've had that one. I sold that one. So again, the card business is just absolutely crushing it. So honestly, the way that these are going, unless you think you got something really, really big time in there, I mean, no harm in waiting, giving yourself. Austin says, rip it. So there you go.
Do it.
As he's commenting on the Facebook. So again, if you're watching on Facebook, hit that follow. And then the next one, Drewski, I love Josh Allen, but putting Mahomes 2 just off 1. Yeah, look, we might save some of those comments for the whole crew as we start winding down. ESPN's been doing the top 10 at each position. I don't know, man. I have some beef with some of them, but at the same time, it is what it is.
I have beef with Chris Sims' latest top 10 in their prime QB list that he put out, I think yesterday. What kind of list was that?
Well, it's Chris Sims. So
it's Lamar. I mean, no, and I'm not slouting at Lamar Jackson. He's a great quarterback. I just don't know if I'd put him above Joe Montana.
Well,
so
yeah, and it's kind of like Colin Cowherd pissing off Raven fans, saying he'd take Bo Nix over Lamar, and it's just like we all know that Colin gets a lot of info from Sean himself, besties. And to the next comment here from the War Room as well. We're proud of all the accomplishments and growth as well. Well, that's because of you guys. Again, You guys have been big time supporters for us and helping get the word out for us. You got Cody, who is the voice of New Mexico, I believe. So that is all to JBW and those guys over there. So again, we're going to keep with our ride or dies like that. So yeah, let's get into some of this. Have you seen any of the top 100?
I've been keeping up with some of it. I think I saw Sutton was sitting at somewhere in the 60s, I thought.
Yeah, 63, I believe.
Yeah, and then I saw Lamar came in at 69.
The biggest drop.
Yeah, which was insane. He was a 2 last year. And, I mean, granted, he had a down year. I don't know about 60 spots down, though.
Yeah. Again, these are voted on by the players, I believe. So it's... is it going to wake up Lamar? I don't know. If it hasn't, if nothing has, then I'm not sure what will. I tell people their lists, I think they're created just to get a rile out of people. Like, they want to get people fired up because it's just one of those where I guess they're kind of like us. It's getting so close to the start of the season. They're just kind of trying to reach. They're trying to reach to have something.
They're doing some clickbait stuff.
Yeah. And then Drewski says it was a year where Lamar was injured and other players had a breakout year, and that is just based off last season. Yeah, I think it's each year. I think it's updated each year, and that's why they do it every year. That kind of leads into the Hall of Fame game preseason, so training camps. So those should be wrapping up here very soon. Someone asked me the other night if I was paying attention to it, and I said I probably won't. until we see the whole list, and then we can kind of, pick it apart as we get to that. But by then, I think preseason and training camps will be full swing. So I'm gonna be like, I don't really care about the top 100.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a point of conversation voted on by the players. So, and Drewski made a great point. It's based off of last season. Mars injured. There's actually quite a bit of spots that moved up. I think there was somebody within, I forgot who the Bronco player was. They kind of moved up a couple of spots too. So they had, I mean, if you're going to talk about internal stuff, but I think this is part of the offseason. I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of weird Raider stories out there too about Max Crosby this, Max Crosby that still. So I think that's, before the start of training camp, before preseason, you're just going to see a ton of weird clickbaity stories. Some of them have something to them. Some of them don't. Like Puka Nakua's situation is out there now. Brandon Ayuk's situation's been out there all off season. So at this point right now, it's just fodder for before the regular season happens. Then we'll get into actual football and talking about meaningful stuff.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some storylines in training camp, guys, and there's still a lot of really, really good free agents still out there on the board. And I think that's going to create stories, right? Like who's going to be that first domino to fall. I obviously follow a ton of Bronco pages, right? So I see a lot of the Broncos saying Denver's going to be in on this guy. Denver's going to be in on this guy. I mean, you're going to hear that every team's going to be in on everybody essentially, because again, you have the free agents that are out there still, which is a really good list, but then you're going to have all the cuts. They're going to go and they're coming in waves, right? Like they got to get it down to 53 by a certain day. So they're going to have the first wave of cuts after, I believe, the first or second preseason game. Then you're going to have a new wave of free agents, right? Like you're going to have a new wave of signings. Raiders aren't going to have the exact same roster that they're going into training camp with.
Correct.
That's just how it is.
The 53-man roster is not going to look anything close to what it looks like today, because I think right now players or teams are at like 90-something roster spots. By week 2, they have to get it down in the 70s. Preseason, the third preseason game is kind of like your final dress out game, to where the final week of the season you lead into the 53. Now, granted, practice squad spots, but I mean, we're going to see a lot of surprise cuts. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raider players that we thought were going to make the team that aren't going to. And then we're going to see a lot of our teams maybe pick up some of these cuts from other teams and probably stash them, maybe implement them. So our rosters are going to look completely different by the time week 1 rolls around. And a lot of us are going to have a lot of excitement to talk about or disappointment, depending on what player it is. So, yeah, I mean, these rosters are going to look completely different by September for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I think one of my favorite things, and Sean Payton says this pretty much every year going into training camp when they're talking about rosters. He's like, you want to make sure it's the right move, right? Like you hate seeing a guy that you cut go be a superstar somewhere else. He's like, that's not really a very good feeling, but it's the nature of it. Like you're going to lose out on somebody. But I think if you lose someone and they go on and do great things with another team, hopefully you found someone, right? Because apparently you think that this person that you're keeping over this person has that potential. So yeah, again, it's one of those where don't be surprised. Like I know we call them surprises, but at the same time, it's like trust your team. They have the scouting department. They have a GM for a reason. It's one of those where, it's just not going to be the same 53-man that you're expecting it to be, because there's always those one or two guys. I do want to get to something before we get to that. Let's get this one real quick. Which AFC West rookie will have the biggest impact this season? I know you want to, but I know you're not going to.
Well, I think I would. Fernando Mendoza, I'm not thinking that he's going to have a big impact, just because, one, he's not going to start week 1. I think there's now like reports coming out that Kirk Cousins is going to start potentially the entire season, which makes sense. But even still, like Fernando Mendoza is the number 1 overall pick. That's kind of low hanging fruit to pick. If I had to pick somebody, I would probably say Mesidor from the Chargers has an opportunity to have like a big impact as a rookie, just because the Chargers defense needs that edge. And I feel like he fits what they're looking for. Peter Woods out of the Chiefs, I feel like can make a pretty good impact. Jolly, your guys' tight end, has a pretty good opportunity to make an impact just because of the need. So, I mean, Mike Washington Jr. might have it for my Raiders. So, I mean, there's several different ones. If I had to pick one, though, Mesidor is probably is what I would say would make the biggest impact right now.
Yeah. Cornbread, I see you're ripping it. Let us know what you get in that. Austin would love to hear what you're going to get out of that and see what we got working with. So to answer the AFC West rookie question, it's easy to say those first round guys, right? The Peter Woods, the Mansour Delanes, the, Mesidors. I'm going to sound like a homer here, and I don't want people to come at me, but I still think Jonah Coleman has that opportunity. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, I'm saying this because I'm not sure if JK stays healthy, right? JK goes down like he does last year, then you're going to have to rely on Jonah Coleman. And I know I'm hearing all this stuff about RJ Harvey being, a bust. All these posts I've been seeing, again, just people with their AI stuff. It's crazy. But, if we're going based on our own teams, I would say Jonah Coleman. But I do like the Mesidor, and I really like our Mason Thomas for the Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
I talked about that on the draft episode that we had about him. Then we got one down here that says Zune, Coleman are two that come to mind. I don't know. I think you went into a little bit of detail about Zune a little bit. I'll let you kind of pick up with that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's the Raiders rookie that they drafted out of Texas A&M, multi-position offensive lineman. He can do anything from guard, tackle to center. If anything, I would probably say I think he's more versatile than JPJ, but I think he's definitely going to be the one that takes over Lindenbaum if the Raiders don't continue to keep Lindenbaum past his 3 years. So I like him. I think he's got a lot of raw talent. But I do want to speak on Coleman a little bit because you're giving me an opportunity to talk about Raiders. I think Coleman might be a sleeper pick for like RB2 just because like he seems to be the more natural like running back. I know that RJ Harvey, I don't think he gets a lot of credit for like how productive he was as a rookie in the passing game sector. Like, what did he have? 12 touchdowns as a rookie? Is that right?
10. Yeah, it was 12. Yeah, I think 12. It was 10 or 12. I think it was 5 and 5 actually.
So double digit touchdowns, you don't get that just by being terrible. So, I mean, granted it's play call, but you have to execute that, But I think, like you said, Coleman has a great opportunity to make a footprint in this offense, especially with JK. And who knows, maybe they both can be the 1-2 tandem depending on injury. But Zune, I think it gives depth for the Raiders for sure. Just going back to that one.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think part of me was like, I think it actually was more than 10. Yeah, it was 14.
Okay.
No, just kidding. I'm all over the place. Hang on, guys. Bear with me. 7. No, it was 12. 7 and 5. 12.
Okay.
So, but again, we've seen it with Sean everywhere he goes. It's a designation for each of those running backs. Like he's going to have his, you're going to have the runner, right? You're going to have the pass catcher out of the backfield. It's like a Darren Sproles type. Now, RJ Harvey's nowhere near Darren Sproles, but what he was able to do. And we actually saw how Sean was getting more creative with him in the passing game than just the screens, right? Like you heard Matt and I talking about our hatred for the screen games and how Sean was run the screens. So then they got more creative there, getting a mismatch, getting him out into the open. And I expect more of the same of that. He's got a gold Adam Vinatieri 10/10 once in a franchise on a card auto.
Damn. I'm assuming that's worth a lot considering you just threw out a bunch of phrases and terms that sound like are important in the card ripping business. So congrats.
Congrats. So again, guys, if you have more questions or comments, put them in the comment section. We're answering those tonight. This is a follower, whatever you want to call it, interaction night with you guys, talking a little training camp, talking some, obviously preseason's coming up very quickly. Cody, we appreciate that. Keep up the great work. We appreciate that. You guys also keep up the great work. I was able to watch some of your guys' stuff the other night as well. So again, make sure you guys are putting your questions and or comments in there. You kind of beat me to it because what I was going to talk about was what Ian Rappaport came out and said about Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders' plan. His sources told him that Kirk Cousins would be the starter beginning, middle, and end of season. I know that's very fluent, and I think that's what they're trying to say right now. We'll see how that mantra changes throughout the season. But that's kind of what we thought going into this.
Yeah, I mean, even when we had early discussions, I know that some of us were thinking that he would start day one. I was already saying that you don't bring in, Kirk Cousins and not have him start, considering you have your franchise guy. And also, too, I think there is a benefit to having him set for part of the season, the entire of the season. I'm not even upset about that. I actually think that's a pretty smart football move for a franchise. And part of Raider Nation may be upset with that just because they have high expectations for Mendoza. But I think in order to, again, to put Mendoza in the best position, you do things that the fan base may not like, but it's for the team's benefit. And I think that's what it is. And plus, it's got to look great when we have Justin Jefferson on the team when Mendoza is a full-time starter in year 2. Then we'll be looking great.
Yeah. And the Raiders are still a fragile team. We can sit here and say they've spent all the money in the world this offseason. They're still fragile, right? Like, you still want to be able to put a team around your rookie quarterback. And I still think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback to learn from. Now, I'm not going to sit here and fully confidently say that Fernando Mendoza won't play this season, because I'm not buying that. I still think there will be a point in time this season where I think the noise may get a little too loud, and it's like, hey, we got the number 1 pick on the bench. What are we doing here? But
I think that too. Yeah,
we'll see, because I mean, again, all else fails, you guys end up with another top 5 pick next year, and you have you're giving him probably another weapon. Mm-hmm. Assuming if it's top 5, you'll see what receivers are there. And then all else fails, Kirk Cousins may win you some games. And now you're talking about it's been a fun season. And, now you have a quarterback who's probably ready to take over at that point.
I mean, if we're going to roll Kirk Cousins and with Clint Kubiak, I think this is where my position with maybe looking into adding a Stephon Diggs, then like we should just do that. So that way we have that connection again. I mean, again, we've talked about our breakout players. I'm hoping Jack Bech breaks out. We'll see. There's some depth at receiver that needs to prove themselves, but for sure, like Kirk Cousins can probably win you some games, but it also depends on the offensive line production. Like, again, we kind of talked about it last week. Raiders offensive line gave up 64 sacks in that season, and to keep Kirk Cousins upright to throw the ball, he can't get sacked, and he just stands in the pocket a lot of times. He's not mobile. So a lot of that just depends on what our offensive line does. And so, do I think we're going to set the league on fire with Kirk Cousins? No. Do I think that we could look like a functioning football team? Yeah. To what degree? We have to wait and see. Also, too, depends on what training camp looks like. So,
yeah, this is another thing that I need people to realize right here. There's going to be a heavy, heavy dose of Mendoza this preseason, and that's not a bad thing either. Those are reps. Those are very important reps that, if he were going to be the starter, I don't think you'd want to see him out there every single play. They'd have some design for it, but obviously you get Kirk Cousins out there for 2 or 3 series, and then it's basically Mendoza for a majority of the game, and then whoever that third quarterback might get some run at the end of the fourth quarter. But they want to see what they have. It's literally going to be Mendoza's preseason, and I think one of 2 things. This is either going to be a good thing or a bad thing for Raiders fans, Cody. This is going to be, holy shit, did you see how well this guy looked in preseason?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's going to be one of those where they're like, okay, I actually think we may be able to, let him sit back and learn a little bit.
Oh my gosh, he's going to throw one 15-yard post. Raider Nation's got to erupt in a preseason game. Oh my God, we found him. It's the truth. And then he's going to get sacked the next play, and then it's like the air's taken out of the room. So I think this is where, and I've said this multiple times too about Raider fans, and myself included, we have to be patient. I think we're waiting so badly to have things happen like that, and it just doesn't happen. Mendoza's going to have rookie growing pains. That does not mean that he's a bad quarterback. We need to let things play out. We need to be patient. Like, I'm sure Kirk Cousins may have, chance coming his way week 2 about putting him in Mendoza, which is not fair because 2 weeks in a regular season, you're not even at your full strength. That's still part of preseason in a lot of sense. So I just feel like, and I'll say for all fan bases too, not just Raider fans, but all fan bases at times could be impatient when it comes to rookies or just how they think the team should go. And that's just part of being a fan, which is our big theme of season 2, which is be a fan.
Well, not just it's rookie, it's a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
we were the same way a couple years ago with Bo Nix. I can tell you that. Like, it was one of those where it's like, okay, we've just got done with the Russell Wilson experiment, massive failure. We got Bo Nix. Sean Payton's raving about this guy. Like, let's see what all this hype's about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's I don't like preseason. It's get it over with, and then so it's a little, yes, rookies, but I think in a sense it's more of a it's quarterback. So obviously you're gonna be anxious and you're gonna be antsy about, why are we not seeing what this guy has? Why are we not seeing what this guy can do? But relax, they have a game plan in place. I'm still going to be very vocal about, I don't think it's going to be a full season. I think he's going to get in at some point this season. Hopefully not because of like injury or anything like that. It's more of, hey, the season's done. Let's see what we have here. Let's just throw him out there. Yeah.
And last year too, the Raiders in some spots looked really good in the preseason with early look of Geno Smith and Jacoby Myers at the time, or Brock Bowers, like early in the preseason when teams are still like not even game planning for you. They're just kind of open playbooks. They're just trying to get reps, trying to feel out the timing of the game. Like, everyone's going to look either good or bad. And I don't even remember what the Raiders preseason record was, nor does it matter. But obviously when the regular season started, they just didn't look like a functioning football team. But I mean, how many teams, like I think the Ravens haven't won a preseason game in 10 seasons or whatever. And yet they were doing fine where they're in contention of the division. So in times the preseason works, but it's also like irrelevant to the overall scope of really anything of your team, outside of like injuries or to see if a guy's going to make a cut or not,
Yeah. So this one, we talked about receivers a couple weeks ago. I know Ethan was really excited about this one as well. So obviously you got the speed, right? So I think for what we're looking at here, I think it's a special teams guy to start, see what they have, get him comfortable being on the field. He's going to be someone to keep an eye on, just because the Chargers receivers aren't as deep now, right? They didn't bring Keenan Allen back. You got Ladd McConkey, you got QJ, you got some of these other guys. I think Trey Harris is another name to maybe keep an eye on, have maybe one of those breakout candidates for them. And then obviously they added the tight ends, but if he can show something with the special teams unit, then he's got to, as a rookie, make it hard on the coaches to not put you on like make them take you off the field, right? Like you've got to show, and there's no harm in starting with special teams and then working your way out there.
Or, I mean, if you find yourself on the field doing something with the team, just do the best you can to make that play successful. And I know there's not a direct correlation, but like Marvin Mims comes to mind as like he's usually on the field a lot, maybe not get a lot of targets, but he's very effective in the special teams game. Thompson is going to have to just be very effective in that if that's the role he plays for the Chargers in order to stay competitive and help the team win. Because we all know last year special teams was a big difference for a lot of teams that either went in further in the playoffs or lost games. So special teams is as important as your other two phases of football. So,
and I think Ethan made a point when we were talking about the receivers, is this is a Mike McDaniel type player, right? He's a speedster. He's not a very big guy. He's a burner. He can get deep, right? And Herbert obviously has the arm to do that, so they can attack the deep part of the field with this. So yeah, I mean, that's a good one to keep your eye on. I'm not going to sit out here and tell you to go, draft him high in your fantasy drafted, but it is one of those where you keep an eye on him, see how he's playing, and pay attention, because if he's doing well on special teams, then they can find a way, right? Find a way to get him onto the field. Yeah. Then we got some friendly banter going on in the comment section. It's all fun. We can dunk on the Chargers all day, every day. That is welcome here on this show. Dunk on the Broncos too, if you want. Dunk. I mean, that's what we always tell you guys. Back it up, right? Like do it, have fun with it, keep it friendly. We're monitoring it. I don't see anything wrong with the comments. So just have a dunk on Chargers, dunk on the Raiders. Do what you need to do. I like the friendly banter. We love it. Yeah. And then anything else out here so far? Nope, just some friendly banter going back and forth. Love it. Yeah, don't judge on preseason. Go to remember Paxton Lynch. Yeah, unfortunately.
It's been a minute since I've seen that name.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. So I see one guy in my fantasy wise right now. Chargers. Yeah, and I believe we had some fantasy football talk on our group text today. So you guys be on the lookout for some of these. I believe Austin was working on something that he's gonna start working on. It's getting that time, and we are gonna have a fantasy football segment on our show. So again, fantasy football season's amongst us.
Yeah, I'm going to try to refrain from having too many leagues just because then it gets overwhelming. Because, when you GM a bunch of championship leagues, you got to just make sure you only do a few. You can't overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, there is such thing as too many. In my opinion, I don't like to overload myself either. I usually go 2 or 3. I'll go 4, but I don't know if I'd get to like, double digits like some of these people do. It's wild.
I've gotten into double digits in a season before. I think it was maybe my first couple of years in fantasy football. You just join any league you want. And I think I had like 10 leagues before I knew it. And I don't even remember what the outcome is for the 10. I just remember just because more or less I wanted to do the drafting of it. And then I had all these teams that I was, it was a lot overwhelming. So now I'm like 6 most, but all 6 are like, I know everybody in the league. It's not like a random 6. So
yes, Hampton would be a very high draft pick for fantasy than regular season. Brandon's asking regular season, would you rather play Bills and Chargers or Broncos and Patriots?
In the regular season? I would probably want to.
I would say, hear me out on this one. I'd say Broncos and Patriots because they have the younger quarterbacks that are still. I know Drake May. There's a Drake May Stan Club that typically tunes into our stuff, but again, now when you're looking at the Broncos defense, yes, they can win you some games. Yeah, that's a really good question still, though. But I'd say the Broncos Patriots.
Yeah, I would also say the Broncos Patriots.
But it's really hard to do against the Chargers, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking on the regular season because I mean, you can even make the argument like Bills and Chargers just because the Bills sometimes have these regular season games that they should win and they don't, and you don't know why. Chargers. I think I'm not saying that Jacksonville was a bad loss because it's a bad team. It was just the Chargers got surprised by how badly Jacksonville beat them. So, but I would say today Broncos and Pats, but. That's a good question, though. I think either one, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to have to think on that. I don't know if I like my answer, but I don't say that confidently. So, but moving on, any tips for real quick as a rookie in fantasy? Don't draft kickers in the first round.
Yeah. In fact, I probably wait until the last, the third to the last round before I go a kicker.
Every league has the guys that draft the quarterbacks. Don't worry about that. I typically stay away from the first round quarterbacks. It makes it really hard when you play in leagues that guys do take those quarterbacks right away because then you're sitting there like, well, shit, there's already 4 quarterbacks taken off the board. But again, you can find some really good quarterback pieces later on in the draft. Let those guys do it early. Now they're missing out on the skill position PPR stuff. So I typically stay away from quarterbacks in the first round.
I mean, I don't think I've drafted. The only time I draft a quarterback in the first round is if it's a 2 quarterback league. And that's just because depending on where you're drafting, if you have a top 3 pick, you definitely want to either get Lamar, Josh Allen, or Jalen Hurts. And not because Jalen Hurts is a great passing quarterback. He just gets a lot of rushing touchdowns. But outside of that, you can really get a middle of the 15 pack as a QB to start with. You can probably roll with Caleb Williams or Jared Goff.
I'm looking at you look at Daniel Jones,
sure.
Right? You could even look at a Trevor Lawrence, maybe even a Baker Mayfield.
Well, Bo Nix and Justin Herbert, they're not necessarily being drafted in top 5 quarterbacks, but one of those 2 will for sure fall in the 8th round, just because a lot of how drafts go, people are going to go for the high names, or people are going to really reach for the sexy wide receivers that you're going to want as well. Just let the draft kind of fall to you, and you can probably get a Bo Nix. You can probably get a Justin Herbert later in the draft. But I would also just be patient on the skill positions, because you can collect a bunch of skill positions that get you as many points as a Justin Jefferson, but you don't risk the draft position on that. You're not reaching for it.
I need to learn how to not do what I always do, and that's stack my receivers, and then I get stuck with not so good running backs.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I gotta do a little bit better about it. But I mean, sometimes you have a strategy and you stick with it.
I mean, I love drafting in my family one because nobody follows a mock draft. if you're a guy that like does 20 mock drafts before like a major league that you're a part of, throw it out the window. Because my family one, like they don't follow it. I've had guys that reach for quarterbacks they shouldn't have. I've guys that get a running back in a second round that could have dropped in the 5th round. Like it throws everything off. But like as long as you follow like what I've done in past, and it sounds like you do as well, you either get a running back or a receiver, and then you kind of go back and forth. If you're going to double up on one, you got to double up on the other one. And honestly, like between that, you should be okay. Like you may sacrifice like, you know, a tight end or a high priced quarterback, but you're then going to be really good in those premium positions because most of your points come from your running back and your receiver.
Yeah. Jeff, thank you for tuning in tonight. If you're still on here, we appreciate it.
See you, brother.
Enjoy your work and keep working hard. And then I didn't see Gruden's breakdown of the AFC West. I did bookmark it because I do at some point want to go through and watch some of it just because I love John Gruden to begin with. So I do want to see what he had to say about, obviously he coached in the AFC West. He's very familiar with these teams, and plus he has great breakdowns too. So I do plan on watching it at some point. I won't watch all 3 hours of it at once.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I'll probably break it off into each team segment type stuff like that. So, but yeah, to end on the fantasy question, like I always feel like I have a strategy going into it, but the big money league that my brother and I play in with our cousins and some friends, these guys actually, unfortunately, somewhat know what they're doing. I'd hate giving those guys that much credit, but they are, you know, because we do, right? Like we see how some of these like other leagues, we see how people are drafting, and we're just like, there's no way that would fly in our league. Like,
right.
These guys, like the guys that we played with, have been doing this for a while now. So unfortunately, we don't play in a league with, you know, and we're also paying quite a bit of money to play in this league. So we kind of have to take it a little bit more, you know, serious, and actually have to do a little bit of research on these guys. It's not like you're playing in a free league where you're just like, just draft your favorite players. So, yeah, it also depends on who you're playing with too.
Right. Have you ever done a dynasty one?
No, but I do know some of my friends that do. That's a little too much for me. I'm not trying to get all crazy and wild with it.
Well, so the Boom guys invited me in their dynasty one last year, and honestly, it is a trip. And if you are somebody that likes to be like a makeshift general manager, it is kind of fun. But the draft takes forever because, and I don't know why they wanted to draft in like June, which to me like should be illegal. Like we're not drafting until like August, the earliest. There's no need to draft in June. But anyways, like at least in this dynasty league, you have 24 hours to make a pick. So like, you know, if a guy makes a pick in the second round, you don't have to make a pick immediately right there, so on and so forth. But you get to draft, you know, you get to trade away draft picks for a player. So like, that's kind of the fun part of it. But then like when the next year comes around, when you got rid of that draft pick, and now you only have like 3 picks, and the other guy who you made maybe a big trade with, they have like 7, and 3 of your picks are over there. That's kind of the interesting part of it. And then you don't really draft for like today's league. You're drafting for the future, right? So like for you would probably draft like Pat Bryant over, let's say Courtland Sutton, just because Pat Bryant long-term makes more sense and is more valuable than a Courtland Sutton. But if you're looking to like win now, then maybe you are going for like a Courtland Sutton or a Travis Kelce or whatever, right? Like that's just a little different like mind play of it. So it is interesting and it's fun, but also like if you're drafting in June, like you should be evaluated in a psychiatric ward. So
yeah, and the comment over here, Dynasty League, but you need good league mates. You do. It does matter who you play with as far as leagues go. Like we have rules in place for our league because everyone's got to be engaged with this, because again, like I said, we're playing for a lot of money. So you don't want those guys that just do those mock drafts or those just join the fantasy random Yahoo league just to set a lineup and then just not pay attention to it the rest of the time. Yeah. You got to be able to have good people. And again, like Cody says, I mean, it's time consuming. I mean, we put timers on everything. Like it's, don't want to take a 4-hour draft. Like we're trying to have fun with it too. So let's do a quick reset here. We'll do about 20 more minutes as long as the number stays up. The number's really good right now. So thank you guys for tuning in and viewing right now. West Warren Rivals. I'm Corey. That's Cody. Austin and Ethan are just hanging out in the chat, doing their thing. So we're just doing an impromptu episode tonight. So again, if you're new here, hit the follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I believe we're getting closer and closer to 600 subscribers, which is still crazy to see.
Yep.
We're getting closer and closer to 1,000 followers on Facebook, which is crazy because like 4 weeks ago, we were at like 300 followers.
No, we weren't even at that. I think we're at like 120, maybe.
Either way,
I think we had, I know for a fact we did not have 300 4 weeks ago. We've gotten to like 800 in the last 4 weeks. And I think it's a couple of videos that we've put out and all of a sudden we've been discovered on Facebook, like by far our biggest platform that we're being seen on. It's been, I would have never have guessed, to be honest.
Yeah. So if you're watching on Facebook, thank you. So make sure if you're not following, hit that follow button. We'll continue to put out the great things that you guys are obviously enjoying, because the views on those things that we're putting out there on Facebook have been anywhere from 5,000 up to 500,000. We had 501,000 on one clip alone. So, but the rest are getting anywhere from 4 to 10. We have a couple of 50s and 60,000 views on those as well. So again, make sure you guys continue to get the word out there. We got a lot of things, and I want to spend the last probably 20 or so minutes. We'll keep answering your guys' comments, so keep putting those over there. But I do want to talk about what we have coming up this season. There were some talks that began today as far as we're breaking down segments. Cody has ideas that he wants to do for each segment. We also talked about we're having sponsored segments now. So each one of our sponsors and affiliates are getting their own segment. We're going to break those down as well. So Cody, what all do you really want to share with the people right now?
Well, first off, the seggies are coming back. So when the regular season comes back, we will be having seggies. Hopefully less crash outs, that's for sure. But definitely what we will be doing is diving more into the AFC lore that obviously is what the show is about, especially for the new fandom that we brought in the off season. Because when we went off, season one, essentially, we did not have nearly 600 subscribers. We had less than that, less follower counts. And now that we've brought in new Charger fans, new Bronco fans, new Raider fans, new Chiefs fans now, and had great interviews with like Lexi from Kingdom Queens, who was a great get, and talking all things Chiefs. So definitely going to dive into more of the seggies that are more specific to the teams. Also more segments for our sponsors like JBW, the safe player of the week, I think is one of the ones that was thrown out there. Emporia State Federal Credit Union. So I know that you see the logo down here, but we have a segment that's going to be dedicated to them now, because we definitely want to show our partners that our followers, our subscribers are definitely going to love the content and the seggies that we do have. And also too, like getting the boys back together, I think is another great thing that I'm excited for, because we get to actually talk about meaningful football, not just hypotheticals. It's actual meaningful football. And obviously there's more stuff behind the scenes that we're working on that once all of us are in agreement that we can announce, we'll go from there, because it is exciting. But also to like just having the regular season collab that we're hopefully doing. And again, just a lot of like the layout looking different, the theme of the show looking different. Corey just really spearheading the leadership of it is what we're excited for.
I think the funny part of this is we were talking the other day about what we wanted to kind of put back out there. At some point clips do kind of run, and I don't want to say dry, that's not the word I'm looking for, but we do have the clips that we aren't really wanting to put out there because it's not really, we don't feel like it's going to help engagement. So we were talking the other night, and Ethan had mentioned, we could go back through and look at some of the older clips. So that's exactly what I did. I brought up our YouTube channel. Holy shit, man. Talk about low quality.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Do you like, it's night and day. So like one of our very first gets, I think, I don't remember if Dick Vermeil was our very first interview.
He was.
That that was probably like the so early inception of the show. And then you look at what we look like with Lexi, and you can just see, like, you can tell we've had a year of trial and error. And I would even say when we had Derek Johnson on, like, that was a huge get too. Like I thought we came a long way from that part too. Like it's just been great to see like the production of the show increasing, us being more organized behind the scenes has been better, because we've seen some shows that aren't organized. Like we've all kind of like said, hey, let's not, this show over here, let's not do like what they're doing because it's not really conducive to what we want to do. So we've had those internal conversations early on, and to where I feel like we're really proud of like what we've formed.
Yeah, and again, it's only been a year, right? Like Coach Dick Vermeil was a year and a week. 1 year, 1 week ago. I think it was like July 7th or something. Barely any subscribers, barely any followers. Just took a shot in the dark, shot in the wind. And then we got Dick Vermeil on here. And then, then you go from Dick Vermeil over to, like a John Abraham to Matt Prater. Even the quality that we had on the videos with Matt Prater is still kind of like, and then Quentin Jammer, the quality on that one. And then once you get to like some of these other ones, and you can start seeing, it's a little bit more organized. Like the show itself's been organized, but like the quality of like what we're seeing on the screen has, it's been crazy. And then, Chris Harris and all the other, we've had great content creators on. We've obviously Cody, Jesse Newell, Bethany, all those other ones that we've had on. So to think it's only been a year and what we've been able to, when you go back through and you look through our, stuff that we've posted, and it's kind of like, damn, we actually got to talk to some really great people along the way, and more great people to come.
Right. Well, and I've had the privilege of doing a couple of different intro shows, intro videos for us. And half the time I'm texting you guys, I don't know which special guest to use. We have literally everybody from Super Bowl winners, a Hall of Fame head coach, a great content creator, super fan of Marianne Dew when she came on, which she was great. So we've been really, really fortunate to have like a great support and get great guests. Shout out to Austin and Matt for getting guests, and Mama Shovik, thanks for hanging out with us. So yeah, dude, it's been wild to just see like the long list of people that have willing to come on the show. Like Chris Hovan was like early on, and it's still like an impactful episode that we had.
Best AFC West coverage for sure. We appreciate that. Again,
appreciate you, Cody.
And then we go look at some of the comments on our posts, and it's one of those where it's like, oh, they just let anyone do a podcast now. That's how you kind of know we made it, right? Because it's like, it's easy just to sit there and say, oh, well, they just let anyone do podcasts now. And it's just one of those where it's like, hell yeah.
I love when they think we're sports journalists. That always makes me feel good.
And then done a segment on 3 way too early guesses on guys you think your team may draft next year. That's a great idea. I mean, we can. I'm not ready to do it quite yet, but we can look at doing that sometime in this training camp preseason.
I guess, Brandon, are you asking for like college draft, like the draft of the NFL, or like fantasy draft? I think that's what I'm curious about.
If it's the NFL draft, next year's class is going to be fun. I'm actually looking forward to breaking down a lot of those guys in those positions, because I think next year's draft is going to be way better than what we just had to sit through. Like we keep saying, this last year's draft had good talent, wasn't elite. NFL draft 2027. So yeah,
Corey,
I'm very excited.
Should we start the hot take that if Justin Herbert can't get the Chargers to the playoffs, the Chargers draft his replacement next offseason? Should we start that?
I mean, you know me, I'd sit here and be like, hell yeah. And then
Ethan's
obviously
about to come through the screen, and he's not even watching right now.
I will say, with the whole relax thing, there's still been times where, and Austin and I talk about this all the time about, go back and watch some of our episodes. I found a memory popped up, and it was when we had Coach Dick Vermeil on, and it's just me cheesing. Literally just a still shot I took of me, all of us just like cheesing as Dick Vermeil's talking and doing a breakdown, and then watching back through the I don't remember if it was the Kurt Warner. It was the Kurt Warner clip that Coach Vermeil was talking about, or if it was when Coach Vermeil was talking about that last drive of the Super Bowl. But we're all just kind of sitting there, and we're all just like locked in, and we're loaded. No one can forget though, Cody and his introduction with Coach Dick Vermeil.
Yeah, dude. So we tried to do like a nice little great intro, and I can hear back and I'm stumbling over my words. I am so nervous. And then like my heart is pounding like crazy right before we introduce him. And it's like, oh my gosh,
it pops up on the screen and we're all like,
it's him. Yeah. And like, I don't know, like, I think I was trying to small talk with him for like 10 minutes to get like comfortable. And I was getting more nervous because I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's even better than like I thought. Like, we got to relax. So
it's like he's been doing this for a long time. So Coach was already like, he's in front of, like, I was watching old highlight clips of Coach Vermeil doing his pressers, his press conferences, and it's just like this dude had an act for the camera. Like it's just one of those where, so it didn't surprise me. It was just 4 or 5 random guys on the screen with him, and he's still just Coach Vermeil.
Yeah. And also too, like the lead up to getting him on the show was really funny too. Like that was also real wholesome, because we had truly thought that we were getting catfished, and then nope, it is for sure Dick Vermeil, just because the way that he was texting or he was working his technology. We're like, yeah, no, it feels like we're talking to an 80-year-old man. So yeah,
I'm sure Austin could text or call him right now, and he'd tell Austin, I'm too busy. I'm getting ready to go to Canton, or I'm leaving Canton. It's around that Hall of Fame time, like he did with him that one time. Well, we got to make it quick. I'm having a trip to go to Canton. So similar show, and we call ourselves the Fanalists.
That's cool. Shout out.
Fanalists. We'll have to check that out. And again, guys, we do love watching other shows. I will be the first to tell you that I do love watching. We have people that tune into our show, so we do tune into your guys. I try to put something in the comment section when I can, just to let you guys know that we are paying attention. We are watching, because we do like supporting other channels. It's not just about us. Everyone keeps telling us like we're like a huge deal, and it's weird to me. I was Cody and Dak and those guys. I don't know if Cody was on that episode, but I know he was in the chat, because I had said something during Dak and those guys' show, and everyone was like, "Oh man, the war room's here," and it's just like, it's just us. Like,
yeah, right.
We are not as big as everyone is making it out. I mean, we love it. We truly do, but we also know that this is just the start, right? Like, we'd love to sit here and say that, yeah, we're the big time show, but we're not. We're just like you guys. We're a small channel still, and we are fully aware of that. So
yeah,
Austin cheesing with Derek Johnson. Yeah. We've all had the moments with the guests. There's always been the one guest that we're all just kind of like, hey.
Oh, okay. So
the show, the name is Wild Wild West. We are relaunching in a different channel in a few weeks. Okay.
All right. We'll be on the lookout for it. That's sick.
Let us know when you guys launch it. We'll tune in for sure. Trying to go through.
It was funny that you were mentioning about checking out other people's shows. Like, we've been real fortunate to collaborate with other creators. So I try to at least feature some of them on like Instagram, because I pretty much post on Instagram for the channel. We all kind of like have our own, like social channels that we're all trying to like be responsible for. But when I do IG, I try to be mindful and like repost our friends' stuff that like has always collaborated with us or shared our stuff. So I try to pay it back and always like get engagement. Cause honestly, like this podcasting stuff is tough. So anytime you get people that try to dunk on you and like when you're live or on a video, I don't think people realize how tough this can be to like do this. Not that like we're any big time, but like, also don't be rude to people that try this, like I've seen some of our friends, some of the comments that they'll put in our friends posts have been kind of inappropriate. And it's like, you guys, like, you don't have to comment anything. In fact, you can just scroll past the video.
Yeah. No, it's too hard for people to do sometimes. So it's just one of those where you can't do it. You gotta say it. And again, we love it because one, it's engaging. Like we get it. We're not going to respond back to every dumb comment there is. You might catch me on a good day and I'll say something back that I probably shouldn't in the long run, but I do. I keep it PG at least because I do know that we do have friends, family who do follow our channel. As you see, my mom watches almost every episode that we have. So I still like to pretend I'm an angel sometimes. But to answer this question right here, during the season, Tuesday, Wednesdays, we do our live shows on YouTube and Facebook and X. Tuesdays are basically reviews. So we'll review previous week games. Wednesday, we do a preview. So now we're talking this week's matchups, especially the divisional matchups. We really want to highlight those. So there's a lot of big divisional matchups, as everyone's fully aware, in the West. And now we got the NFC West, so we're very excited about that. And then we do a Sunday morning pregame show. That actually took off a little bit more than we were anticipating. That was kind of fun. It was just kind of one of those, hey, let's try it. And it worked, especially in the playoffs. Like man. So we are bringing that back. So as Cody said, the segments are coming back, same segments. We're having League Recon. We'll do that. And then we'll still do our review, preview, pregame. I guess we won't go into too far details, but we are planning on doing post game shows. Each of us are going to try to do. I won't give the names or anything because I don't know how far Ethan. I know Ethan's doing one, and then myself and Matt are going to do one together as well. Hopefully, Matt will be back with us before the season. Obviously, that's all fluid and very changing, but we do plan on doing post games, and I think most of those. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. It could be a TikTok, it could be here on YouTube. I don't want to overload our YouTube channel either with a bunch of just tons of videos as far as like doing a ton of lives like that, because we're already going to be doing pregame, postgame, or pregame, and then the review previews. So I don't know what Cody's plans are as far as his postgame stuff goes, but I'll let him dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, so it'll just depend on how the Raiders are doing. I don't know if I'm going to jump on and do a crash out live, but you may get a reaction video out of me. But also too, like if it's worthy enough to get some conversation going, I'll jump on, and it'll just determine on if YouTube or TikTok, or heck, if you guys can follow us on TikTok and get our viewer count up, then we can stream this onto TikTok and we can just hit two birds with one stone. But regardless, I do plan on giving some Raider insight throughout the season and post-game stuff, whether that it's its own separate show, kind of like what Matt and Corey and Ethan are all kind of cooking up, remains to be seen. Because I know that Austin, he's thinking about doing the same thing as well. So not that we're separating it, we're just more adding additional specific content for the War Room itself, just because we have 4 fan bases that we want to really dive in with. And so having team specific ones really gets down to the nitty gritty of it. And whether that's on a TikTok live, Instagram live, YouTube live, the content will be out there. So you guys definitely want to subscribe and follow, and you guys will see it. So, but we'll announce more as the season comes on. Cause honestly, we're still like in the figuring it out phase. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to act like we have it all figured out, but there's a lot of great ideas of like how we're going to supplement more content for fan base specific to only bring you guys into more of our War Room universe, so to speak. So
yeah, and we're starting to learn which fan bases are where as far as social media goes, so that may play into it a little bit more. We want to do a little bit more of a deeper look at what the numbers are looking like in certain spots, but we're starting to see just in the last month where we're posting things and what we're doing and where things are. Now we do TikTok lives on Thursday nights. I'll keep those going. I told you guys the other night when I was doing a live on TikTok that I'll still do my Thursday night ones. Those seem to do okay. And I told everyone, even during the season, when the season starts, we'll do a TikTok live before the football game starts. Hell, I might even do it during the football game, depending on who it is. And we know how the track record is with Thursday night games, and I can put it on the TV right here and we can go from there. But I see the comment, the review preview doing one show, and it can be long. Respect for breaking it up into 2 shows. We have to. Yeah. Just because our shows do get long, and this one thing that we've been talking about doing is enhancing it a little bit more and being quicker. We know it doesn't always work out that way. So if we were to do our review and preview in one episode, it'd be a very long night for all of us, and that's not what we want to do.
It'd probably be a 2-hour episode. In fact, the reason why we're probably branching off into more team-specific shows is because we talk so much. We need to let it out before we put it in the War Room and condense it a little bit. So, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate you doing one long show, but for us, different time zones too. I think it makes it easier if we can just have it more condensed. So
multiple seasons in and still trying to figure out, yeah, we're one season and we're going into season 2. We don't have it all figured out either. We're still figuring it out, but we do have an idea of what we want to do differently this season than from last season. And I don't know if it's because we weren't expecting the jump that we made, right? Like season 1, we didn't know. And then we started, then people started flocking in. And then they really started flocking in. And now we're kind of getting up there to where we're pretty happy with where we're at. I mean, obviously we'd like to get more, which is what we're going to continue to do, but we feel like we have a good enough following now to where season 2 is going to be big for us. It's going to determine a lot for, season 3. Like, what are we going to do? Because season 3 won't look the same as season 2, just like season 2 is not going to look exactly the same as season 1. So yeah, no one expects the first season jump. We couldn't. I mean, I could sit here this time last year and tell you guys you'd be out of your damn minds if we be where we're at.
I'll be the first one to tell you guys, and I'm sure Mama Shovik would agree that when season 1, when we started, I did not think I can convince Corey to do TikTok lives, and yet he's really good at doing TikTok lives. And in fact, like during the playoffs, probably our biggest push was during the playoffs and the lives and the YouTube shows that we were doing. So yeah, if you would have told me season 1, Corey would be a influencer on TikTok, I wouldn't have believed you.
Yeah, and I'm still not, but we're trying. And no matter what all of our expectations are for this year, it won't play out how we think. Yeah, we are fully ready for what's thrown our way because we have a great group behind the scenes. And I can promise you during the week, no one plans more than what we're planning. We plan multiple weeks ahead. Like we try to stay ahead because we know there's always that time where we're going to be behind at some point just because work gets busy for us. Because again, we have a full-time job. As much as we'd love to do it again, as much as we'd love to do this full-time and I'd love to go wake up in the morning, do morning stuff, and then do a show. So it doesn't work out that way. So we have to stay ahead. We have to stay ahead of everything. So Mom agrees. I didn't seem interested in it. Well, I was still, I told Cody he was an idiot for even suggesting it.
And now, like, and the funny thing is my wife's the one that said you should do it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And I'm actually really glad to hear that it's something that's in a very big part of the show is TikTok lives. Because honestly, like a lot of our big supporters like Drewski, Nacho Fries, Katie, I know I'm forgetting a bunch of Brody. I know those guys, they found us on TikTok live. And, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have found us through some variation of TikTok live. So yeah, it's actually been a really cool part to see that be used in our benefit. So
yeah, and now it all starts because we've been waiting a long time for the season to get here. Training camps are now starting. We're going to start seeing a lot more. Fantasy football is going to be starting, so you'll be seeing a lot more fantasy football stuff coming from us. We'll work on getting some more fantasy content creators on with us as we did last year. We'll work on getting team-specific content creators on like we did last year. We had the Colts Brigade joined us last year. We joined a Bills podcast last year.
I think we had an Eagles fan join us, or we joined an Eagles podcast last year as well.
Yep. So again, we're not limiting ourselves. We're always looking at ways to enhance. And I know everyone says AFC West, but we still talk that's why we have our league recon. Yes, it's mostly AFC West. We will break down the AFC West each week a little longer than what the league recon would be. But I don't know if we expected, maybe we did, but the amount of other teams that join our stuff, just jump on a TikTok live. The other night we had Bills, Bears, Rams. I think there's a couple Vikings fans that jumped in there. So we know it's out there. So we decided last year that we needed to do a league recon. We needed to talk about all the teams. So that's kind of what we're going to do. So that's going to stay the same this year. We're still going to talk about all the other divisions. We'll still probably pick a game of the week outside of the AFC West, and we'll go from there. So, again, the number's still going good. You guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. So again, if you're new, hit the follow button on Facebook, on TikTok and X. Hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. I'll give it a few more minutes. It's getting to be about 10:30 here. Didn't expect the number to stay in the 20s, but we're still here. So
pretty consistent. Shout out to you guys for keep letting us stay around. So
keep the comments coming. If you guys keep the comments and questions coming in, we'll stay on a little bit longer. Not too much longer. I was up early. Had to play some golf today. So
you got golf tomorrow?
No, it's gonna be too hot. It started getting hot today. It was like by the time we were done, the feel like temperature was like 104.
Yeah, it's been getting into the triple digits this weekend. I think tomorrow is like 105. And my wife's out of town, so I was thinking about getting up early and doing some yard work in the backyard for her. I should probably follow through with it, but also it's going to be hotter than shit outside. So I don't know how enthusiastic I'm going to be about that.
Yeah, no, I did yard work the other day just because I was assuming it was either going to rain because they talked about rain, and then it just got hot. So tomorrow I'll be sitting back. I mean, golf starts very early tomorrow on TV, so we'll see what goes on there. It's going to be a lot. I want to get this template done for our show. I said I was going to get a template done by the end of the weekend for us to kind of review as we get ready for the season. It'll be a breakdown. So work on a little bit more of the show stuff and see what we can come up with. And then it's going to be a busy week.
It's always a busy week. I think you and I probably, not to say that Austin and Ethan, neither one of them work, but I think you and I are probably the busiest with our day jobs, that there's times where neither one of us can get a text in throughout the day. So yeah, got to get a lot of prep work done before we fall behind.
Yeah, summer's supposed to be my downtime with my job, and it hasn't been, but that's just the nature of it. I've been out and about going 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, and it's just like, well, now fall's getting ready to start, and I'm like, well, there was my break. So weekend sports, weekend games will be beginning soon. I have coaches meetings that'll be coming up in 3 weeks. So yeah, back to it. But
yeah, we have budget season coming up around the corner. That's probably the busiest for hotel industry, is budget season and I don't know if you guys do budget season. I can't stand it. It is the most innocuous thing I can do at all.
No, that's my supervisor's responsibility. Then she just tells me what I have to make and I do it. So,
or make and not spend, because there's also that component, like you're on this budget or whatever.
There's always that. But any last topics that you want to get into as we start wrapping up?
I actually do have a topic question for you. I wanted to get this in the middle, but it'll probably be the last one before we sign off if this number keeps going down. But what was a story that came out of Broncos camp that, one, you were like, okay, this is horse shit, and here's why? What was that story?
I mean, we can look at all this Bo Nix stuff. I mean, I don't get it sometimes with, the Bo Nix hate, because you look at the numbers are up there, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's not always going to look pretty. I'm at a loss for it, because what he was able to do his first 2 seasons in Denver, I think he tied the record with 24 wins his first 2 seasons, 7,500 passing yards, over 7,500 pass yards, 50 plus touchdowns. But yet everyone still wants to hate on him. And I don't know if it's because like a Sean Payton thing, because I know a lot of people don't like Sean Payton. So maybe they're just wanting Sean Payton to fail. Mm-hmm. Or they're mad that Sean Payton was gloating about this guy and he's actually turned into an okay quarterback his first couple seasons. But it's like no others. Like, we traded for Jalen Waddle this offseason and it was still just Bo Nix's ass. Bo Nix isn't good. Bo Nix is this. Bo Nix is that. And it's just like, we're wanting someone to fail so bad, and it's just like that's the only storyline that comes out of Broncos camps this season. Like, it's just one of those where I don't get it. I don't understand it. Denver Dev, you turned in at the wrong time.
Yeah, shout out Denver Dev. Yeah, you probably turned into when you called Bo Nix ass.
Yeah, that's not at all what this was. There's context to this, Denver Dev. Don't be mad at me, please. No, there's context to this. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't understand where this keeps coming from, and I still think it's just. I think it's a lot of Sean Payton and Sean Payton, the hatred for Sean Payton, because we get it. I've said it multiple times on the show that no one is higher on Sean Payton than Sean Payton, and he did gloat about this guy. He spent the whole offseason, going into Bo's rookie year about this guy. So yeah, that's the storyline that I don't know if I'll ever get over. It's just weird to me that people want to see someone fail so bad who's actually had pretty damn good first 2 seasons.
I think he's either first or second in his quarterback class, like in, I think, all the major stats, the quarterback, the completion percentage, the QBR, the passer rating, touchdown, interception. I'm pretty certain that he's like, if not one, at least 2 in that respective draft class. And, I think Bo Nix is the guy. I don't know why people aren't buying it, but I find that weird as well. At least in our videos that we put out, anything about Bo Nix, they're all saying that he's, overrated or he's not great. And, okay, but he won 24 games in the last 2 seasons. Like, you don't just accidentally win 24 games.
No, I'm not sitting here saying the dude would be well in any other system, and the quarterback coach relationship's important.
Right.
And no, it hasn't been pretty the whole time. Like, you're telling me he was a second-year player last year? Yeah, he's going to show that at times. Oh, you mean his rookie season, he looked like a rookie at times? Yeah, he was going to look like a rookie at times. I'm not out here saying he's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I'm not out here saying he's going to be, Joe Montana. I'm saying he's going to be the quarterback Denver needs him to be. And the leap from year 1 to year 2 was fantastic. So what? He has a great defense that plays with. Like, that's just the nature of it. Sounds like your team needs to go work on things.
Don't you get annoyed when like you bring like reason why this player we'll use Bo Nix as an example is a good player, and yet they said, yeah, but he's got a good wide receiver group. Okay, and
led the league in drops last year. Like, if I saw a comment on, and I don't think it was on one of our posts, it may have been on someone else's post, but they were like, if Denver's receivers, if they didn't have all the drops, Bo's stats would have been that much better. Because it's not like, and yes, Bo was missing on a lot of deep throws. Okay, that happens too. But for the most part, I mean, there's some bad drops just in the middle of the field. So it's just like,
and it's fill in the blank on any player. Like, and I can't remember what quarterback, because not just Bo Nix, but like this always happens with quarterbacks in general. Like, I think I'll use the Joe Burrow example when he was like his MVP like season. Oh, it's because he has a good receiver group. So that's a knock on him for having good receivers, but he's the one still completing the pass, though. He's still giving it to said receiver to make this or whatever. And then there's always this, like, for example, Bo, oh, but he has a good defense. Okay, well, that sounds like the organization built a good team. So why is that a negative? Does he need to have a shitty defense? And then people are going to say that, oh, look at Bo Nix's win-loss record. He can't win. Like, what?
People use his record against the Chargers as the reason to why he's not a winner. Well, yeah, Charger fans are first to jump on that. But then when you talk about their own team, we can have a whole nother episode, another show about that. But yeah, what's biggest storyline for you? Outside of Mendoza Mania, there's got to be something else that's been out there. I mean, it's basically this is like a new semi-shiny toy. Like, it's a little used, but it's still shiny.
A little bit. I think if there's one thing that has come out from the storyline this week that I find very funny is Charger fans, and not to dunk on Charger fans, it's not really what this is intended for, but they were really up in arms about Max Crosby saying F the Chargers and F all the AFC West division, which I was like, what else is he supposed to say? I would, if it was any other player, say the exact same thing. And I can't tell you how many Charger content creators I saw run graphics, videos about that, and saying something about it.
The same fan base that would take Max Crosby in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So anyways, I just found that funny. Like, Max Crosby this whole offseason has been a conversation. We're going to trade him. We did it. He's back. Oh, he's going to go again. Oh, he said something bad about the Chargers. He mentioned that Justin Herbert flopped when he hit him. I mean, this is Max Crosby. So if you're complaining about it, like, get real. Like, this is Crosby. What did you expect? So that was probably one of the things I saw that was very peculiar, and like, are we serious, guys? Come on, this is Crosby.
Yeah, and again, we'll get Ethan's take on, obviously, again, guys, it's not dunk on Chargers night. I know there's been that was a whole little thing of last 5 minutes, but not at all. And we'll get Ethan's thought on some of that. And then Dev says something today. Kirk's supposed to be the starter all season long. Good move in Vegas. Just need a wide receiver 1 now. That has been Cody's big mantra all off season.
Dev, I think ball, bud. So
I mean, that's just kind of been the theme of it. And there's been a couple receivers that are out there that I'm kind of like, Raiders could take a look at. So
yeah. Again, although Denver Dev, I will say, but I think you need to earn the Broncos' trust again, because we had a video that you said Bo Nix was better than John Elway and got a lot of Bronco fans upset. So I think we need you to redeem yourself this season.
We understand why you say that.
Right.
We understood that. We understood it. And I don't blame you at all for saying that. I don't at all. I was in the air that I was fortunate tonight. I got to see John Elway play, but not everyone was, as fortunate to that. So as we wrap it up, again, guys, we do appreciate you guys tuning in. Hour 15, not bad. A little longer than we were anticipating, but that's good because that means there's people watching. Context is killer. Context is killer. Yeah, context is killer. Dev, we still love you, buddy.
I'm having fun with you, Dev. I know.
Oh yeah,
I know. I'm the one that edited the video. I know there's a lot of context that wasn't in that video.
Which we did defend, and we did say watch the video.
Yeah,
You'll
exactly.
You'll see the context.
We even linked the video for them. So yeah, we were there with you, bud.
So again, we're recording live out of the JBW Solutions studio. Thanks to Jeff for joining the chat earlier. Thanks to everyone else in the comments tonight. You guys have absolutely crushed it. Thank you for watching on Facebook and X as well. So with that, we will see you guys Tuesday. I believe, yeah, Tuesday. We will be back live here on YouTube. You need to hit up Austin if y'all open having spots in the future. Yeah, always reach out to Austin. We'll work something out soon because, again, the schedule is kind of getting booked up quickly. That's not a bad thing. That just means we're going to have plenty of stuff to talk about over the next few weeks. So for Cody, I've been Corey. We appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. We'll see you guys on Tuesday.